So I was having a conversation over the weekend with a friend of mine called Tangeni Shkukutu. It's a good friend of mine. We live in the same neighborhood. So we're just talking about our country, the state of affairs of our country, and do you think Vision 2030 will be attainable? And Tangeni went on to narrate and say, man, let's just start off here. How many young people are sitting at home without any employment? We're not talking about just the kids born in the 2000s. We talk about even people born in the 90s who have been unable to secure to secure a job in this country. There's that. And then on top of that, we have what is coming right now, which is now the elections this year. The Namibian Electoral Commission, ECN, put out a statement saying that people have to get ready to go reapply to get new voters cards for them to be able to vote. And then the conversation has been around, how do we get the youth to get involved? How do we get the youth involved to get to the polls? What do we do to get the young people to go to the polls? Because you are literally dealing with a youth that feels like it's hopeless. It's hopeless. It's hopeless in politics. They don't get paid attention in politics. They don't get paid attention in business. They don't get paid attention in the making decisions on the economy of this country. When decisions are being made, nothing is taking them or considering them or even thinking about the youth to say, how is this going to benefit our young people? How is this going to get our young people probably employed, or how is this going to get them doing something for themselves? Because right now, unfortunately, you have a parent who's raising two generations of her own family, meaning she's raising a kid and then she's raising her kid's kid. Because employment is few and fair. And then on top of that, there was a video that I saw of a young girl, I think she's in South Africa, where she was busy crying and talking about how she works at a call center. And she literally did her legal studies, completed them, and now is unable to secure a job in a law firm. So many stories are out there. Because it even reached the point where people were talking about the education system and why it's not working. And some of the arguments I gave is the unemployment crisis we're experiencing in this country is forcing people to either go study something they don't have any interest in just to secure a job, because right now people are willing to be uncomfortable as long as they get a job. And then number two, we're also getting people who probably have qualifications in, I know one gentleman who has qualifications in medicine, but he is a physics teacher for grade 8 at a high school. So now you have this person teaching kids physics to grade 8 kids, and we expect them to perform well. This is also part of the reason why we see the results look the way they do. It's because we're having many of these things happening. Back in the day, I know Member of Parliament, leader of the opposition, Mr. Venani, was saying, you are seeing teachers wearing check sales, jeans, and all type of clothing going to school. They're not anymore dressed very prestigiously how teachers used to be dressed when they used to dress suits and whatnot. Because now you're dealing with a different generation of teachers. These are teachers that also, number one, some of them don't want to be there. This is why they dress the way they want to. Number two, we just live in a different time. And back in the day, I can put it this way, people were doing jobs because they were passionate about it. Nowadays, where people are doing jobs because out of necessity. Like what my friend Tangeni said. Tangeni said, look, Mitchell, I'm a qualified diesel mechanic, but I'm unable to get employment. So I'm working for a security company, what do you call this, an armed response company. I try my best to be positive, but I don't like it. I don't like this job that I'm doing. It's not what I wanted to study. It's not what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about cars. I want to build and fix cars and probably one day make my own car. But I can't because I do not have what is needed, the capital. The institutions that are supposed to make these things happen for us are not doing it. So now we are sitting and finding ourselves in a scenario where we're taking jobs that we are not passionate about or don't even like. Now we're doing a job I hate. Maybe every morning I have to I have to give myself a prep talk. Hey, you can do this. You got this. Just go and do it. And then you go do this job and you don't deliver. This could also probably explain why when you go to certain government ministries, you walk in there, you can't really get assistance because people are just there to collect salaries. They're not there to do the job because they love the job. So that's the issue. So now coming back to the elections and voting, like I said, you are dealing with young people. Many of them have been unemployed for the last 3, 4, 5 years since they left school, went to university. Some decided not to go, couldn't probably go because of financial reasons. Some were able to go and couldn't go to degree level, could only probably do diploma and certificate level. and they're sitting at home without opportunities of getting employed. You want to tell that young person to get up on that particular day, to go to the polls and to go put an X on a paper and to vote. While this young person, after he puts that X on a paper, he goes home, he doesn't have food, no electricity, doesn't even have money to help out. Probably he's a father, can't help out his baby mama. They're just in desperate situations. How do we inspire that person to go and vote, to make it feel like he actually has the power to change his daily situation? I think that's what politics is. I mean, I think that's been the breakaway from what politics is supposed to be. Politics was about making sure that the will of the people and the demands of the people are being met. But now we're in a situation, we find ourselves in scenarios whereby people feel that the politicians aren't really doing anything for them. Whether it's the labor issues here in Namibia, now we're seeing it has brought rise to a gentleman like Michael Amshelelo and the AR, I mean not the AR, Namibian Economic Fighters, NEFF. It has brought rise to them. It has made him now a rock star. It has made him now the saving grace for many people who have labor disputes, whether it's mines, whether it's security companies, whether it's shops. He is the person who goes there. And you sit down and ask yourself, but where are the labor commissioners? Where are the people that are hired in labor to deal with these issues? Where are they? Why are they not there? Why are they not the ones leading the forefront? Where are the unions that many Namibians join? Some people are part of unions. They pay a fee of $100, $200, etc. monthly to be part of a union. But why is this union not doing anything for them? Those are the questions that people ask. And then on top of that, because of this unemployment crisis, it has created a situation now where private companies, whether Namibian owned or foreign owned, are exploiting this and using it to their benefit. Because, for example, you work for a particular company, you're unhappy with that company's job, I mean, what you get at that company, you're not getting job satisfaction. You go and bring it to your bosses and you say, listen, I'm not getting any job satisfaction here. Can you not change anything? They will just look at you and tell you, oh, if you don't like what we're offering you, you don't like what you're getting here, you can leave. There are other people that can come and do your job. That's the problem. This is why we're seeing that we're getting the unmotivated employee, the guy who goes to work, he or she goes to work just to go press a button and do what he or she needs to do, waiting for 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock arrives, knocks off, goes home, and doesn't care. Closes, shuts down his laptop, switches off everything, and does not give a flying horse what happens for the rest of the day. That's what we're getting because this crisis is creating situations whereby these employers are behaving like dictators. They're behaving like dictators, fascist dictators. They can do as they please. You stand up and be brave and try to speak up against it, you get fired. And you'll even be there telling your guys, but guys, no, this working environment is not good for us. We must protest. Your colleagues will tell you, hey, chief, you can go protest alone. I don't want to lose my job. That is what has happened. I was having this conversation with two, we were talking about with my two politician friends, and they were telling me um, the unemployment issue is not just unique to Namibia. It's a global phenomenon. America, the US, and so forth. Then I came and I counted and I said the difference between the America and the UK, they have what they call a sovereign fund, where they take care of their people. In Namibia right now, we are having probably families that are not getting any form of grant, not getting any unemployment grant, not getting any money being paid to them to just make them be able to survive. We have that. If we had that grant that was given out to our unemployed people, it is, but not to everybody. It's not covering everybody because you need to register. Half of those people would not have so many people sitting on the side of the road begging for money. We would not have so many people having to stay in a shack. Figures came out that says Namibia has over 579,000 Namibians who are at risk of suffering from malnutrition. And making worse, this El Nino effect we're having right now is making the situation 100 times worse now. Because I'm already hearing that in some parts of the country they're rationing maize meal. You can't get maize meal. You can't get food. And most people, maize meal is a staple. And now the other ones who've planted mahangu, probably if they didn't plant the water-resistant mahangu, they might not be harvesting anything. So now you sit in a scenario where you ask yourself, this unemployment crisis that we're experiencing in this country has also brought in, is going to end up, elevating the malnutrition situation in the country, because the food. Because I read, and I did my last video talking about it, where I read saying that looking at how secure is Namibia as a country, it shows us that we are not. We literally spend 3 billion Namibian dollars to import food from outside. And most of this money that we use to import food from outside is money that is in circulation in the economy. This is money government is giving out. The government gets this money from tax. And now if you have a smaller group of people pay tax and the people that are not paying tax is a bigger base, it ends up putting the system under pressure. Now the few individuals that are employed and working, having good paying jobs, running companies, farms, and whatever, are paying so much tax to take care of the rest of the unemployed, including myself. For me, it's been hard, guys. It's been hard. It's been now what, 22, 23, 24. It's going for 3 years now that I've not been able to secure a proper job, that I've not been able to get back in the agricultural sector. Is it fun? No. Do I like it? No. Because I'd love to buy myself. I just turned 33 a week ago, last week on the 5th of March, a Tuesday. I couldn't even host a party for myself. I was fortunate enough, my brother came through and bought me a bottle of Singleton whiskey and cake. I didn't have anything. And he bought me some meat to buy and he said, here, bro, buy for yourself and celebrate your day. Because I wasn't going to celebrate it. It's been tough. So when you ask a person like me to get up and to go vote, would I go vote? I would probably say no. What am I going to go vote for? You vote for this party, no change. You vote for this party, no change. You vote for this president, no change. You vote for that president, no change. People are in a situation right now. People, let me say the bulk of the Namibian population are in a survival mode. And because people are in survival mode, we're starting to have this conversations of we need to take the land from the people. We need to take the land from, for example, white people. But I am always busy saying, and every time when I comment and I tell them, listen, what land do you want to take? Are you talking about agricultural or are you talking about Erf's land in Windhoek? Because Windhoek, for our capital city, if you drive from where I currently stay, Hopland Park, all the way to Rocky Crest, there's so much open land. Even in other parts of Windhoek, there's so much open land. There's land just standing open. Are we grabbing that land? Because this is the conversation we need to have. I have said, and I told my friends this, if you are going to kick the nest, the wasp nest, make sure you have enough protective gear. Because if we are going to take land recklessly and not have a clear cut, thought out plan of how we are going to expropriate this land and how this land is going to be put to use, not talking about land in Windhoek, I'm talking about agricultural land, the farms that most of these guys talk about. We need to make sure we have a plan. Because one guy was like, look at the Zimbabwe situation. They were under sanctions, but they were able to survive. I'm like, yeah, they were able to survive, but think of how many Zimbabwean citizens don't even live in their country. How many of them are living in other countries? How many of them are being arrested every day and are being accused of so many crimes? They're living in the diaspora. Even now with our neighboring country, DRC Congo, many Congolese people live in the diaspora. It's because of the climatic situations at home. I am saying that the land issue is an issue we need to address. Yes, 100% agreement there. But we need to make sure that when we do take this land, we put people, if it's agricultural land, people that can actually turn this agricultural land into productive pieces of land. If we go about it very recklessly, we're going to be left with a scenario of we've taken farms, we've given farms to our people. Already what we have right now, we've given farms to our people, and our people are unable to do anything with these farms. That's the scenario we're sitting with. So I said, yes, we're going into an election. 2024 is an election year for Namibia. But the question is, which party do the youth want to vote for? Do the youth want to vote for the current ruling party because of allegiance to the ruling party? It liberated us. Are you looking at the new political parties that look like the nice young thing walking around in town that you want to get to know better? Are you going to vote for them? Are you going to give them your trust for them to run and govern for you? Or, or you're not going to vote at all? Those are the two questions. But I just want to make it clear to my fellow young people. If you decide not to go to the polls to vote, it is the same like voting for the party, the ruling party, whether you want them to be there or not. So eventually we have to go and get our voters cards and we need to go do our civic duties. But like I said, you're telling young people to go vote, and this young person wakes up every morning sending CVs left, right, and center, being not sometimes they respond to you unsuccessful, sometimes they don't even respond. You just have to take it on the chin and be like, shit, I didn't probably make it. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to me? I've had so many friends, and I always say that I've been fortunate enough that my parents bought a house, and I can still um, live here. I can live here for free without having to pay any rent. But I always think about those young people whose parents only live in a village and their parents use their last little monies to send those kids to come and do something for themselves. And they were. And then COVID happened or whatever, they lost their job and they have been unemployed for this long. This could explain probably why some young men and some young women are doing, as they say, indecent activities just to make a living. 2024 is coming. How do we inspire this next generation to go to the polls? How do we make them believe that when they go put an X on a paper, something will happen? Big ups to Honorable Patience Maswao, who was speaking about the DBN situation, about how the banks in Namibia are not really funding businesses, and CEO Mr. Stetler for actually coming through and saying they will do that. They need to change, man. I know a friend who went to Development Bank, is trying to buy trucks, and Development Bank is asking for collateral. And he does not have that collateral, but he's working. He's a lawyer, he's getting paid well in a foreign country. He's trying to set this up here, but because he does not have that collateral, it's difficult. Now I tell him, at least you make it to the door. Imagine the other ones who've never made it as far as the door of DBN, who get turned away at the door because they don't even meet certain criteria. But all they have is a good business idea. Is a good business idea. That's all they have. They don't have the assets. They don't have anything to put up against collateral. They don't even have money to get this thing going. So what happens? That business for years and years just stays in a fire collecting dust. They never actually is brought to life. So how do we get these young people to go to the polls? It's going to be an interesting conversation. With that said, I just want to say, and that's how the cookie crumbles.